Hey guys, Luke here on Sean's channel. Today I'm bringing the Cyber Dragon deck back because now we are going to be doing some test hands. If you want to kind of learn how this deck works, I recommend watching the previous video, which is the actual combo guide, where I go through the various one card combos you can go with this deck. If you want to see what this deck consists of in terms of ratios and stuff like that, watch the video before that because that's the actual deck profile. This is just a trilogy of videos I wanted to do, just because I do really like this new build of Cyber Dragons. I worked really hard to see what works best for Cyber Dragons now, and although I still really love it as a going second deck, I have to admit it does really well going first. I probably won't be doing too many test hands because everything that you can learn can be learned in the previous video, and we're mostly going to be going for the same end board anyways. This is more so a video just so we can see the various hands we might get with this deck and how we would use them to go into our end board. So just to get straight into it. The most ideal thing you can ask for with this deck is core in your opening hand, just because core on its own is a one card combo to get to your end board. So we always want to have core in our opening hand or some way to get the core with the likes of Cyber Emergency. So that would be best case scenario. But of course, like many decks, this can brick as well. So sometimes we just won't open core. But we actually don't really need to worry about that here. Now honestly, this is a pretty decent hand. It is quite good if we're going first, especially just because we have the Cyber Emergency in order to search the core. We also have a triple tactics thrust if we do get interrupted, and we have a hand trap for follow-up next turn. Also, Power Bond is an important search that we need, and there's only one way for us to get it, with the form of Cyber Dark Chimera. So if Chimera gets interrupted, which is a good weak point for them to interrupt us, we at least have the Power Bond in the hand to kind of follow back up on. Cyber Dragon, not too much of a important card, especially going first, because our opponent's not going to have a monster on field, so we don't really have a way to special them out. But we are of course going to be using this hand to activate Cyber Emergency. Now this is ideal because with Cyber Emergency we are going to search for core, and this is pretty much where the combo gets going. From here we're going to normal summon core, use the core effect. We are going to search for a copy of the Cyber Dark Realm. Let's get that from the deck to the hand. Get it right here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to activate the realm effect. You're going to add a Cyber Dark monster from the deck to the hand, so you're going to get your Cyber Dark Chimera. We will use Cyber Dark Realm's effect to do an additional normal summon of a Cyber Dark monster, so we are going to do an additional normal summon of Cyber Dark Chimera. Next up from here, what we're going to do is we are going to link away core into our copy of Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight's effect, we are going to send Realm to the graveyard in order to search for the spell card Clockwork Knight, and we're going to add it to the hand. That's why it's very important for you to do the normal summon of Chimera off a Realm here, because we are probably not going to be getting that Realm back ever. Not even off of Worm, because we already have a better target in the likes of Cyber Emergency in the graveyard, so we're probably not going to be using Realm anymore. Then from here, what you can do is you're going to activate Cyber Dark Chimera. You are going to pitch the Clockwork Knight in order to add a copy of Power Bond from your deck to your hand, which of course is the reason why we run 2 copies of it, because we really do need that effect to go off, because if that effect goes off, we also get the additional effect that if we are to fusion summon once this turn, we can banish monsters from the graveyard as material for that fusion summon. That's why it's really important to run 2 copies of Power Bond in case we open the 1 copy ourselves. Then from here, what we are going to do is we are going to link these 2 off in order to go for our Proxy F Magician. And then that is going to trigger Cyber Dark Chimera. Chimera has the effect that if it is sent to the graveyard, you can send another Cyber Dark monster from your deck to the grave with a different name from the monster in the graveyard. So we are going to send Cyber Dark Worm. Then from here, what we're going to do is we are probably, you know what, I was actually going to activate Worm's effect, but I might actually get the Regulus up now while we still can. You can probably do it better under normal circumstances, but just in case our opponent is planning on interrupting us at some stage, we might be better off doing it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate Clockwork Knight. I'm going to banish it from the graveyard, and I'm also going to discard Cyber Dragon from the hand. You may want to discard another Power Bond, but honestly I think since we're going to be getting so many Cyber Dragon names anyways, we might want to hold on to the extra copy of Power Bond just in case. because from here we are going to add a copy of Therian King Regulus. Because of that Clockwork Knight effect, we are able to search for an Earth machine. Then from here, just get out of the way, I'm going to activate Regulus. I'm going to target just a Clockwork Knight. I'm going to equip him to Regulus and special summon Regulus out. This is just so we don't have to worry about any more interruptions. If our opponent tries to Nibiru us or something like that, we have Regulus to kind of take care of it. But then from here, we are going to activate Cyberdark Worm. So since Worm is in the graveyard and we have another machine cyber monster in the graveyard as well, we're able to activate this effect where we send one Cyber Dragon monster from the hand or deck to the graveyard, special summon this card, and then we can add one cyber spell or a trap from the graveyard to the hand. So we'll do that. We will activate Worm. We will send a copy of hers to the graveyard in order to special summon out Worm. And then we can add a cyber spell trap from the graveyard to hand. We will add the cyber emergency back. And then on a new chain, hers will trigger. We are going to add a copy of Cyber Dragon from the deck to the hand. Then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to activate Proxy F Magician. We're going to use the effect to fusion summon. But since we already use Chimera's effect on field, we're able to banish monsters from the graveyard as material for a fusion summon. Even though Proxy F Magician states that you need to have the monsters on field for the fusion summon, Chimera actually counteracts that. So we're able to banish material from our graveyard instead. So let's go ahead and we will get rid of Core and Cyber Dragon in order to go for our copy of Chimera Rampage Dragon. Then from here we are going to activate the Chimera Rampage Dragon. We are going to send 2 cards from the deck to the grave. We are going to send a copy of Naxter, and we will also send another copy of Cyber Dragon because we need a monster with 2100 original attack in the grave for a bit further down the line. Then from here what we're going to do is we are going to exise these 2 in order to go for our copy of Cyber Dragon Nova. We are going to activate Cyber Dragon Nova's effect. We are going to detach probably the Chimera Rampage Dragon in order to target one Cyber Dragon in the graveyard and special summon it out. So we will target the we will target the Naxter, and then Naxter's effect, we can target one machine monster graveyard with 2100 original attack or defense, and we will special summon it out. So we will special summon out our original copy of Cyber Dragon. Then from here we're going to turn Nova into Infinity, and the final part of the combo we are going to activate Power Bond. We are going to fuse the Naxter and the Cyber Dragon, who are 2 light machine monsters, to go for the Mechanical Dawn. And then we will activate the Mechanical Dawn so that during the next standby phase we will get our Power Bond back. So you can see how that is a very, very fantastic example of what this deck can do. We basically just did the regular combo, but we still have 5 cards in our hand. It's great because we have some really, really powerful follow-up with the likes of Cyber Dragon, Emergency, and Power Bond. We have a Disruption in the hand with the form of Ash Blossom, and also we have Thrust in hand as well. So that was a great test hand. Let's get into another one. I'm really glad we had a way to get Core in that opening hand, just because that is the main source for most of these combos. So if we don't open Core, it can be really, really hard for us to establish a board. So we like to see it as often as we can. But maybe we might see a hand without Core and we might be able to see what we can do with it. But ideally, all of your hands involve Core. So let's just see what we got. Okay, look, this is going to be essentially the exact same sort of combo, but we have more interruptions with the likes of Droplet and Imperm to set in our back row. So what could easily happen here is if we activate Cyber Emergency and it gets ashed, that can really, really suck. But what you can do from here is basically you can just set Droplet and Imperm into your back row and activate Clockwork Knight, because Clockwork Knight does have a very good effect where all face-up monsters in the field become machine monsters, which can be really, really crippling to a bunch of decks out there. I know this in particular completely shuts down Tempai and the likes. So it is a fantastic card, and especially for some decks that need specific monster types to link summon, it can be very crippling. So this hand, if we do get interrupted, it's not the end of the world. We do have some very powerful back row cards. Let's do another test hand right here. Maybe this might be the last one. Depends on how good or bad it is, but we'll just see. Give the deck another quick little shuffle. Split, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is pretty bad. If we're going first, this is pretty bad, but if we're going second, it would be actually quite good. So if we're going first, there's not a lot to say. We would just simply have to pass turn and hope Ash Blossom and Drone Lockbird is enough to keep us alive. And then hopefully it is. But then if the turn is passed over to us, we will be drawing for turn. And we'll be getting a Cyber Dragon hers to our hand. Let's make the assumption that our opponent has a monster on the field. All what you can really do is activate Cyber Jormungandr, where you can special summon it from your hand and then also special summon a Cyber Dragon from your deck in order to let us have a good rank 5 monster. So what we might be better off doing from here is baiting out as much as you can so you can activate the Triple Tactics talent. So we really did try to bait them with Jormungandr. Hopefully they would have actually taken the bait and then we would activate the talent. But say if they didn't, what our next step would probably be to exease those two into a copy of Nova. Hopefully they're still going to be taking this bait. What we're going to do is we are going to normal summon hers, and then what we might do is we might link him off in order to go for a copy of Clockwork Knight. Then that will trigger hers. We're going to add a copy of Cyber Dragon from the deck to the hand. This is another way to kind of bait them in order for us to get our Triple Tactics talent to go off. So we will be adding a copy of the original Cyber Dragon from the deck to the hand. Hopefully that would have baited them, that they didn't want us to get that search, so we could have talented from there. This is basically just all baiting in order for us to activate our talent. But if they still haven't baited us yet, we could activate Cyber Dragon Nova's effect. We can banish one Cyber Dragon from face on the field or in our hand in order to make him gain an extra 2100 attack. So we will banish Cyber Dragon from our hand in order to put him up to 42. But since we have a Cyber Dragon in the graveyard as a target for his resummoning effect, we can also activate Nova. And what we can do is we can detach Cyber Dragon from him in order to special summon out that Cyber Dragon we just detached. And we're able to do that perfectly fine just because both of their names are Cyber Dragon while they're in the graveyard, so that's a perfectly legal thing to do. What we're also able to do is, since we're not machine locked or anything, we can use this Clockwork Knight and this Cyber Dragon on the field in order to link into SP Little Knight. And SP can have an effect where we can banish one card on our opponent's field or in the graveyard, which again is something that might cause our opponent to have a response, so talent will still be there alive and well. We can go into battle phase as well if we wanted to with Nova. Being at 4200 attack, we can attack over a lot of different monsters. Just be wary that you're not able to attack directly if you used SP Little Knight's effect to banish a card on the field or in the graveyard. Then going into main phase 2, we can also turn Nova into Infinity. Infinity is great because, you know, it's a pretty good boss monster. It's a great interruption going into the next turn. But if our opponent has a lot of cards on the field and we already used SP's effect, so she's banished for the turn, what might be the better play to do is if you are after attacking with Nova and going into Infinity, what you might be able to do is soak up one of your opponent's attack position monsters. And since an XZ monster attacked this turn, what you're able to do is you're able to turn your Infinity into your Zeus. Use Zeus effect, you can detach 2 materials to completely wipe the field. And then we're in a pretty strong position during the end phase because we will get our SP Little Knight back. But again, all of that was really just to bait out an interruption so that we can activate talent to maybe like draw 2 cards. And from that we will get 2 really great cards actually. We will get Negation Fortress and Clockwork Knight. But even still, if all else failed and we didn't really get an opportunity to do half the stuff that we were able to do, that's completely fine. Since Cyber Dragon is able to special summon itself from the hand just simply by having no monsters on the field and your opponent controlling a monster, what you're also able to do is if your opponent summoned from the extra deck more than twice during their turn, you can just special summon Cyber Dragon, and then you can also go into Typhon, which is still a great card. Honestly, it's really hard to explain a test hand like that because A, it was a really bad hand for going first, and B, we have no example of what our opponent's board would look like, so we don't know which will be the best course of action. But if all that other previous stuff failed, Typhon is still pretty good regardless. So that about does it for a test hands video. I highly recommend you guys check out the previous two videos, which will be the Cyber Dragon deck profile and the Cyber Dragon combo video, just because I go more in depth behind the theory of the deck in the first video, and I do a more in-depth guide on how to fully do your core combos there as well. So this is more just kind of like a video to showcase the type of hands you're able to get with this deck and the kind of end boards you can get with them. It's quite funny because most of them, you're always trying to strive for the usual end board anyways. So that's why you're probably better off looking at the combo video to fully know how to get there with that end board. If you guys are interested in building this deck and trying it out, please be sure to use the affiliate links down in the description below. By using those affiliate links, you help directly support out this channel, which really helps myself and Sean to keep bringing you guys these videos. We have some big plans for December, so we can really use your support because we have a lot of exciting stuff planned for this channel that we can't wait to get into. Another way you guys can help support the channel is if you can consider becoming a channel member. We want to give a big shout out to all of our channel members. That would be Ronnie L, Jojo TCGs, John Cran, and Emeric Humbert. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. So thank you so much for that. For everyone else, if you could just like the video and subscribe to the channel and even leave a comment, it all really helps us out in the long run. Other than that, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.